that we can hold elections even for 136 crores of people. And how we are running the whole show. So it has not happened suddenly. If you look back, you will all agree that it is the quality leaders and the good governors that we obtain during the foundation period, 20 years, 25 years, that has set the ball rolling. And we are fortunate in that respect. And these people, to name a few, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, Rajaji. Coming to the present position, we can name many. But the one name which we should all admire for making India what it is today is Manmohan Singh, the Prime Minister of India. In fact, when Manmohan Singh became Prime Minister, it was a miracle for him, it was a surprise for him. And in his first interview, he has said, after getting this Prime Ministership, that I myself am surprised that I have got this particular position. And people around me say, what will you do? India is in such a precarious position that you will be out in 6 months. You will not be able to do anything. You may have honored many positions because he is the person who got delete from 37 universities, Manmohan Singh. With such credentials, people around him were saying, you will not succeed. You will be scapegoat. You will have to go within 6 months. And as we all know, it was he who started restructuring the tax system in India. Number of steps he had taken. And this license Raj was eventually stopped. The great contribution that Manmohan Singh made to the present position of Indian economy. How quality leader and good governor. He was the only Prime Minister who was also the Governor of Reserve Bank of India. And many administrative posts he has achieved. But when we look to his biography, we feel that coming from a family and working for the nation, all the while, his one sentence was that whatever you do, whatever service you render, wherever you are posted, do it as a national service. And therefore I thought that leadership and teamwork are two missing links in the present education and training programs. In 1947, we became independent. India had 20 universities, 500 colleges, and 2 lakh people taking education in university. Today, if we see, we have 1,000 universities, 50,000 colleges, and 3 crore students are taking higher education. So we have achieved, made a progress. But what about quality leaders that we are giving from education? What about good governors that we have to give This question we have to ask. We are inaugurating the Nashik chapter of ISTD. What is the Bodhavakya of ISTD? Watchword. Prashikshan is the basis. Training. Training for what? And their watchword says, their Bodhavakya says, that training is for knowledge. Training is for dissemination of knowledge. And training is for development of society. So these three things are very important. From this vast ocean that we have created in this educational field, India is the third largest higher education system in the world, next to USA and China. But what about its outcome? So this society says, training and retraining will give you excellence. When I visited Japan, the secret of success was training. Training and retraining. At the age of 19, once the student becomes HSC in our language, passes 12th standard, and does on his own, either a job or his own occupation, whatever it is. Every year he gets a training for 10 years. And every 3 years later, he gets training for 1 month. And even after 30 years of service, he is put to training for 1 year. So that in the society, when a retired person goes, he must be a holistic person, knowing everything. And I experienced that when I was there. They called it roto training. It was roto training for Japanese industries. Before the age of retirement, 69 is the age of retirement in Japan. So 67, 68, 69, 3 years prior to retirement, a person is asked, where will you have 1 year's training after you retire? And he can give it. And the company will provide it. All the cost. 35 people are taken in one car, one bus. And there is a supervisor who looks after them. And that person goes. Suppose here is a company, and 35 persons from this company are put forward to training. The bus will go and stop at 10 miles from this distance. And everyone will be told that this is a village where you have to work. So 35 people will work in 35 homes. There are only 2 persons in that home, mother, father, like that. And they are old, 80, 85, 90, you don't know, up to 100. One province is in Japan, near Tokyo, where 3 lakhs of people are beyond 100. And this they have a record for the last 60 years. The great thing Japan has achieved in healthcare, as also in other things. So this person who has already worked for 30 years in an industry and has retired, or is going to retire, is asked to go in that home and do whatever these family people, mother, father, or husband, they will tell him for them, because they are so old that they cannot do anything at least, but we think they are doing everything, even at that age that I have seen. My point in telling this to you is, education should produce a holistic personality. And competencies must be acquired through education. Knowledge is required. Knowledge we should have. But knowledge is number 2, can be made available from any source. What is required is health. If you don't have health, to the nation is Joro. And education must be for the making your social services and all other services more useful to the society. So quality leadership requires that certain important values have to be inculcated in the personality of a learner. So my main point is this: when we consider education as the only instrument in our hand for getting this quality and also good governance, we take knowledge, and along with knowledge we also emphasize attitudes are important, skills are important, habits are important. And today we are talking of skills only. You must have skills. But in the absence of values that you cherish, where will skill take you? It will definitely take you to a wrong road. And therefore values are very important. In other words, enterprise, industry, organization, business must have a human face. Unless you make your industry or enterprise based on humanism, it will not create quality and also goodness in the society. And these things can come only through education that we should be giving to the learners and putting before them the ideas or the leaders who have delivered results in that position. Learning is one thing, but learning must be through doing. And doing is also a quality, but learning must be for becoming. And becoming depends upon values. We all know that Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. And we also know that it was Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing are the first people in the world to be at the top of that mountain. Everybody knows that. But we do not know that that was not their first attempt. Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing had 13 attempts prior to that. They have failed in those attempts. And after a failure at one of the attempts, little earlier, Edmund Hillary thought that perhaps now it will be impossible for him to be at the top of the world, because 10 times he has failed. So he went out and came near the base of the mountain and looked at the mountain. And he just screamed, "I will come again, and I will conquer you. I will see that I am at the top of your highest peak." Because he said, "You are a mountain, you cannot grow. I am a human being, I will grow." Humans have to grow, students have to grow, learners have to grow. Remember that you can grow. Everybody can grow. That must be the concept in your mind, that nothing is impossible. You must believe in yourself. If this value is not there, what is the use of it? So he said, I will go. And believe me, when he went, when he was at the top of that mountain, he went with Sherpa Tenzing. Earlier attempts he made alone, but 2 attempts at the end, he took Sherpa with him. Because he said, I believe in myself. I am growing. I will conquer this mountain. But there must be somebody to support me. There must be somebody to see what I am doing. Whether I am really coming to the top. Where I am failing. And therefore said, I will take Sherpa with me. And it was Sherpa Tenzing who helped Edmund Hillary to go to the top and to attain that particular level. When both of them were at the top, Hillary said, you should host or hoist the flag. I will not hoist the flag. The credit is to be given to the partner and not to yourself. You have done everything. In fact, you have grown. You had that ambition. You had acquired that skill. You are the person who has achieved all this. But you must know also what values I should cherish. You are taking that person with you. The purpose is that he should be there till end, what I am doing or what I will be achieving. And suppose you achieve, as he has achieved. He said, take a photograph when you are hoisting the flag. And believe me, in the whole album of that particular photographs that we have, it is Tenzing shown as the person hoisting the flag. Even when Sherpa Tenzing, his autobiography has said that Edmund Hillary was the first person and he was at the top and he should have hoisted the flag. This is the quality of a leader. A leader has to have a team. A team will have to be motivated. A leader is a leader when he inspires others. And from that point of view, it is necessary that building team, giving inspiration, motivation, and credit also to the entire team when something happens, gives you a positive. And therefore we have used the word positive and not great leader, not effective leader, not efficient leader, not leader par excellence. You can see anywhere. In the examination when you get a number, you are also an effective student, learner. But quality goes with this. And also, Edmund Hillary has put before us an illustration that after he was at the top of that mountain and was given credit that he is the first person in the world to conquer Mount Everest, what did he do afterwards? Is that not important? That is also equally important. What a leader does after achieving something. First of all, you must achieve something. And for that, you have to set a goal. Employ the means that you have. Show the concern for excellence. And after achieving that particular thing, of course, you become a quality leader. But what you do afterwards also is equally important. And in the biography of Hillary, we get all glimpses of what he has done after being at the top of that mountain. What he has done, he has visited 10 peaks of Himalaya after he was at the top on the Mount Everest. So he did not say that because I have at the top now I can conquer anything. am as if I am there. No, he has actually to go. And he conquered 10 peaks of Himalayas, Kanchenjunga, Fishtail, and many others. Not only that, he thought that why should I not go to the south pole of earth? If I can go to the top of the mountain, 29,000 above the sea level, why I should not see the north pole and the south pole? Nobody has seen the point of north pole and the south. It was Edmund Hillary who went to the south pole on his own after having conquered this particular mountain and showed the world that yes, I am maintaining the same spirit and I will try. I don't know whether I will succeed, but he succeeded. And on the north pole when he went, he has taken his own plane with him, so he became a pilot. He was an achiever even in that aviation. That may be one thing. And therefore you say, yes, a quality leader must be a leader who also takes care of many other things and takes interest. Challenge after challenge, new challenges. You take one challenge, another challenge, third challenge. With clarity of goal. So you are not only a one-time achiever, you become a holistic achiever. A quality leader is a leader who succeeds in all these directions. And while doing all this, after being at the top of Mount Everest, Edmund Hillary lived for 30 years. His life was of 30 years after he was at the top of the world. And in those 30 years, what he did was all these movements. But in addition to that, he said, I will establish a Himalayan trust. So within 5 years of his being at the top of the world, he established a Himalayan trust and provided training to people who wanted to climb the mountain. He established many hospitals in that area, where if you are not successful and if you get yourself damaged, one way or the other, there is an institution to give you service. So hospitals were established by Edmund Hillary. And that made a difference to the life of these people in that particular period. So a quality leader is a leader who has compassion in his mind, is passionate for service. He is doing everything for making a difference in the society and allowing all others to take benefit from whatever skill he has, whatever knowledge he has, whatever performance he has got. And this can be done in any profession, any vocation, or any hobby that you can develop. Rahul Dravid, for instance, in the cricket, is an outstanding illustration of a quality leader if you read his autobiography. And like that, many persons are there in many fields. And this all has come. If you say, what must be his performance in the examination? What was the degree of Edmund Hillary when he went to the top of the mountain? He was coming from a poor family and therefore had education of that time. But in school, he completed his education, but he was a very average student. It's not required. You must have some first-class personality. There many we have, but we don't do anything for the society. We do only for ourselves. Whatever knowledge we have acquired and competence we have acquired. So the 21st century is a knowledge century. And 21st century is a century for India. Because we already know that we are the youngest nation in the world. 2021, I started. 65% of our population, 136 crores, is less than 55. 40% of the people are less than 30. Our average age is 29. So we are the youngest nation in the world. And therefore, if we acquire competences, create leadership and team building while we are getting ourselves educated, so you can rule the world for next 50, 60 years. Even otherwise also you will do, because what other countries are doing, that all depends. But this can you do only when you are taking care of your health. That is very important. After leaving the portals of the university and getting some occupation here or there or whatever job or whatever industry you will start and do flourishing, 30, 40, 50 years, you have to give service to the nation to make it what it should be. Leadership, therefore, has to emerge from higher education in a very meaningful way. And for that purpose, we must add value component in education. The new education policy that we are going to get, we must take care that this is also introduced. Flexibility has to be there. We have shown to the world that we are flexible, even though university standards are very rigid in many respects. We got that freedom. UIT college has 33% autonomy that we are enjoying since 1983. Shilpi sir is the architect of that particular restructuring program. As Manmohan Singh has restructured taxation, we restructured education. It's a great thing. Initially, of course, nobody knew what you were doing or what you are expected to do. And university was also very innovative. But slowly, we had to judge about what others are doing. After all, you have to do on your own. Pune University has given that freedom to all of us. And as many as 42 colleges applied for restructuring when it was there through UGC. But when actually it was to be implemented, only 7 remained. And after 5 years, only 1 remained. And it is that one college still going on under restructuring program. Some flexibility has to be there, and some values also are to be added while we are doing certain things. Another thing which I observed, nature also helps you. When you believe in yourself and you want to do something for others, when nation is before you, universe is before you, that is the philosophy of India. Sarve Bhadrani question, that is our philosophy. Everybody must be happy, everybody must be peaceful, everybody must prosper. That Indian heritage, you see, has a great strength. And therefore, this is a very important part. When we, with education, industry, agriculture, and all these aspects, and present times what we are experiencing, governance is required. Good governance. And governance requires more and more to be sensitive to the situation. You must understand. Compassion is very important. If people don't benefit in the long run, what is the use of your governance? has said that we must have Annamaya Kosh. Education means development of all these koshas, Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanamaya Kosh, and lastly, Anandamaya Kosh. So in its Chandogya Upanishad, it says education is only development of these 5 koshas. Translated into one word, what it means. Annamaya Kosh is only looking after your health. Unless you have health at number 1, nothing will work in your life. Number 2 is Pranamaya Kosh, which is skill. All Kaushalya depends upon your Pranamaya. So skills are important. Education is not important. Education you will get anywhere. But skills you cannot get. At the same time, skills are not gifts. They don't fall from heaven. Skills are there if you try, practice, and nurture certain habits. So skills have to be there. There is Manomaya Kosh, which says Vivek is to be developed in your temperament is important. Talent is important, but temperament is more important. And talent and temperament, if it is mixed with techniques which are available, then you will become a highly competent person. Talent, temperament and techniques makes you an entrepreneur in any field. You will definitely do new things. You will be given imagination and ideas, as a result of which quality, leadership and good governance automatically follows. And therefore this Manomaya Kosh is very important. Rational thinking is necessary. Otherwise, for small things, you may go into depression and create a problem for yourself and also for others. That is what is happening. And then there is Vijnanamaya Kosh. Vijnanamaya Kosh stands for sensibility, sensitiveness, compassion. You must feel that others are also there who are going to be affected by what I am going to do. So if you don't have enough care, you will definitely go wrong. So that is also Vijnanamaya Kosh. And lastly is Anandamaya Kosh. Anandamaya Kosh has only one quality which nurtures this rejoicement and enrichment. And that quality is gratefulness.